And hello everybody, and welcome back to Stardew Valley. Here today I thought I'd do something a little bit different and offer some tips on how to get a pretty good start on your new farm. Tip number one, as always, technically, do what you want. You know, enjoy the game. It's a really fun game. It's something I've played for years now. Very new to the new update, but it's a great game all around. But if you want a sort of good start on it, especially with money-wise and skills, then I'm here to make a little bit of a guide on how to get it all started. First thing you might want to do is grab these turnips left behind by a random stranger. Or Mayor Lewis. Always check your weather for tomorrow. So it's going to be sunny. Definitely check the fortune teller to see how much your luck is looking. Very bad for me today. And always check TV for things like living off the land. There's another channel that gives you recipes. But let's get it started. So first thing you're going to want to do is clear out a bit of land on your farm. Best to use the scythe for this, as it takes up no energy to use. You can literally go through. Some people I've seen take an entire day and just go through the farm to clear it all out. Something I would suggest getting early on is about 100 wood, because you want at least 2 chests. So I'll cut all this back and I will see you all in a mo. Okay, so after cutting back a load of the trees and some of the fiber and around here, we've got a couple of more mixed seeds, so that's always a win. So we'll just take out our hoe. And we'll start planting these parsnips. So just cut away all this. As you notice, our energy is getting really low already. That's a problem you might have, especially at the start of the game. Like, you tend to have more time than you have energy. Which, to be fair though, that's where the foraging comes in. And once you have enough wood there, you can grab a couple of chests. I always recommend grabbing a couple of these, one for here, and then one we'll put down on the beach in just a mo. Another good tip, every single day, check these bins. You might get nothing, you might get some good items. Just try and avoid making sure that no one sees you do it, because they do tend to get a bit unhappy with you for that. But like that, we just got a Joja Cola. Which is, I believe, 25 energy, 13 energy, but that's free energy that we just didn't have to pay for and we just got out of a bin. And a catfish, that's incredibly lucky because that's one for the bundles and they are pretty tricky to catch, so we'll definitely want to keep hold of him. So, not much to say down here at the moment. Mostly just want to keep your chest out of the way of anyone walking, because if they walk through it, as you see Mayor Lewis just leaving and going up, if I were to say put it here, they'd walk through it and it would break, and then you'd lose all the items that are inside it as well. So I normally put this one right about here, as later on when you have the fishing rod, you can fish, stick it all in there, and if it's not a day where he's in the shop, at least you don't have to go far to unload. Another good point of interest is the general store just here. I've arrived a bit late, but basically this is where you can buy your seeds, a bigger backpack. You can check the calendar for anyone's birthdays or special events, such as the Egg Festival and the Flower Dance. So Mayor Lewis's birthday is this Sunday on the 7th. And here is a help wanted. You can normally find like little quests that normally give you about 2 days to complete. So for instance, someone might say, Clint, for instance, will want you to dig up 15 copper ore, and then you take it to him and he'll give you a reward, and that'll boost your friendship with them as well. Another good little tip from the very first day, there's a guy here called Linus who lives in this tent. To boost his friendship, it's very easy. You can normally just give him any sort of edible forageable that gives a bit of energy. So for instance, we have 2 horseradishes. So we'll pop in and give him one. And as you can see, he's really grateful for it. So after doing an entire loop of the village today, it's already 10:30 at night. We've got our energy back, so that's fine. We can pop one of everything in this bin here. We found some bread. That's a really helpful item. Again, we found that from the bin outside the library, so you never know what you'll get. It's quite good. So we'll take out our watering can. Not the scythe. And we'll just water these. At the moment, you can only do one at a time, but you can upgrade it to make it a little bit easier in future. Obviously, whilst watering, this does consume energy. Something you really want to watch out for, because two things you don't want to do: run out of energy or stay up past 2 a.m. because you will faint, you will lose money, and there is times where you will lose items. So, as you can see, after doing a bit of foraging and also cutting down trees, you can upgrade your foraging skill, which basically gives you, in this case, 1+ axe proficiency, meaning that you lose a tiny bit of less energy every time you use your axe. Trees now sometimes drop seeds, and you can shape the trees by right-clicking if you're on PC or whatever the corresponding button is on consoles. You can now craft wild seeds using the forageables. You get one of each, and you can craft the seeds, which then you can plant. And now I can also craft bill snacks using the seeds from the trees. And that gives me a good boost of energy for next to nothing. So, day 2 has arrived. First thing you want to do, just water your little plants here. Not forgetting, if you did cut down a load of the grass the day before, you may have found some seeds. These are mixed seeds, so you don't know what you're going to be getting with them. So it could be anything, but generally what you'll get is one of the crops from that season. So it's spring, so there's a chance I could get many other things. It could be parsnips, it could be any of the other things that actually grow in spring. Pop that back in there, pop that in there. And we can check our mail. Sometimes you get some good mail in here. So this is from Willie telling us that he's back and he's got something for us, so we should come down to the beach today. And I believe that's normally between sort of like 9 in the morning and any time after that. So on day 2, when you come down to the beach, you'll get this cutscene with Willie just telling you about fishing. We're going to skip it for now. Obviously, when you're playing it, you don't have to skip it. But what he'll do is he'll give you a bamboo pole for fishing. And because we've got our setup already here, just going to throw in our food for the energy and some of our tools, because we're not going to need them for today. Because today is all about getting your fishing level skill up. Again, this is so that you've got like the most money to start off with. As long as you've got your turnips growing, you'll get your farming skill up. But so what we're going to do is just enjoy a little bit of calming sea and some fishing. So after an entire day of fishing on day 2, as you can see, we've got all of these lovely fish, some extra bait which we'll be needing later on. Once we've leveled up enough, we can buy a better rod that we can attach bait to. Some soggy newspaper, that actually comes in handy later on once you've got a recycling machine, because you can stuff all that in there and it becomes free items. So I think that's alright for day 2, and there's a specific reason why you want to focus so hard on the fishing on day 2 as soon as you can. And I will explain all that tomorrow. For now, I think it's bedtime. Cool, so on day 2, essentially day 1 of being able to fish, I've got my fishing level up 1 and level 2. So we can now craft bait and we've got better fishing rod proficiency. Which also, when you're fishing, that little green bar that you see during the fishing, that gets bigger, making it easier to catch fish. Now, the good thing about day 3 is it always rains on day 3 of your first year in spring, so you don't need to water your plants today, so they can just sit there and look lovely. And what we want to do today is, because of the fact that you don't always know when it's going to be raining, like for all we know this could be our only rainy day in this spring. It's very rare to happen, but it has happened. It's your one chance within the first year to catch an eel, which you do from fishing the ocean. Completely losing my words there. Amazing. Coolio. So now that we've done a bit more foraging for some more spring onions, we've now got 22 of those and 1 silver quality, which gives you a little bit of better energy. As you can see, that one gives you 13 and 5 health. That gives you 18 and 8 health. So obviously the higher the quality, the better sort of stats you get back from it, and the more they're worth. So, I believe the eel isn't until 4 o'clock. But again, we're just going to keep going because we can boost up our level maybe to level 3, because if you come up to the skills section here in the tabs, you can check your skills. You don't actually have to sleep to level up. It will level up as you're doing it, and you can check it here. So I might catch another 2 or 3 fish, who knows, and that might fill up, which means I will be level 3. I just won't get the notification until I sleep tonight. Okay, just to take a little time out from the fishing, we've got about 50 minutes until the eels should be turning up. Because we've reached level, I believe it's either 2 or 3 when you can buy the Fiberglass Rod. That comes in mega handy. It's 1800. You start off with 500. So what we can do is sell a load of these fish. And we're already very close. If we go back out, grab a couple of the other ones that we've got here. These are all common ones that we can get anyway. But what we want to do is just try and sell up to the 1800 mark. Don't particularly need to go over it. There we go. So we've got that. Pop that down there. We've now got a rod that we can add bait to, which we've already got, or you can buy it here for 5 gold a piece. Very cheap, but again, you can normally get it anyway. So we're going to save the rest of these fish for a very important reason. And that is that once you've leveled up enough, you can gain extra perks, which basically increase the value of all fish by, originally it's 25%, I believe, and then it's 50% at level 10. Obviously that won't be coming for quite a while. One of the little things that I always wondered, because I didn't know this at first when I started, but to add bait, you left click it, drag it over to your rod, and press the right click or the corresponding buttons on whatever console you're playing on. And that will increase the bite rate of all fish in the water generally. And with luck, we are now level 3 in fishing, so we'll get the update later when we go to bed. And it's after 4, so let's keep our fingers crossed for an eel. They are very tricky, and that's why it's worth getting your level up sooner rather than later. Well, okay, we got a very tame one that time. They can be very all over the place. We got very lucky that time. So I'm going to pop him in here, because I'm going to save him for the community bundle. If we catch him more, even better. If not, then at least we've got the one. Huh. Little sea creature. That's very rare. Only just spotted him out of the corner of my eye. So, after another whole day of fishing, we've basically got all our fish back, including some extras, and including a couple of more eels, including a silver eel. So, it's 9 o'clock, well, almost 10 o'clock, so I'm going to call it a day here. I know I could keep going for a little bit, but I don't like to push it in case I get exhausted. And that means our level 3 fishing, which means we can now craft crab pots and Dish of the Sea, which increases your fishing skill. I know it's not been the most exciting first 2 days, well, 3 days now, but it will definitely help in the long run. Again, as always, checking on our luck and weather. And we get a little bit of extra luck today, so that's good. And that means now our crops are only 1 day away from springing. So we'll water these bad boys. Today we're going to do some different fishing, say in the stream and in the lake up in the top north. Because you can get different fish throughout the season and they'll all be needed for your community bundles. So, as I'm on my way up to the lake, it's already about 1 o'clock because I've been running around doing some other things. Once you've got one of each of these kind of seeds, the pine cone, the acorn and the maple seed, you can go up here and create yourself a field snack, which is really good for your energy. It's 45 and 20 health. And if you try sometimes, might not work here. And there's plenty of them, let's give it a shot. You can shake it, and sometimes they'll drop you a seed anyway without you having to chop down the tree. Doesn't seem to want to play ball today, so that's fine. But as you see, we've created another chest, which we want because we want to be putting it anywhere where we normally do our fishing. So with this area here, I find it's best to fish somewhere over here, mostly because you can put the chest down over here and no one will knock that down. So that's in a safe spot. So let's get to it and see what we can catch in the lake. Well, as you can see, I only did a sort of afternoon fishing at the lake and I had no bait this time, but it's not been as lucrative. But these will sell for quite a good price, and again, most of these are needed for a bundle in the community center once that opens up, so it's actually still worth getting. But I think for today we are pretty much done. We've got a load of new forageables, including a load of leeks, which are again very handy, especially for making friends with George. So I'm gonna call it here and we'll head off to bed, see if we got a level up. So yep, we got our fishing level up to level 4, so only one more level to go, and we can start choosing our perks to get more money for the fish. But, as it's day 5, Marnie comes with a pet. Now you can choose to take it in or not, that is entirely up to you. I always do because, you know, I love having a pet around the farm, it makes it feel nice. So yeah, we will adopt the dog, and I think Yogi's actually a pretty good name for once, so yeah, he's Yogi. Just like Yogi Bear, if you know that cartoon. Goes well with the channel, I suppose. We're gonna pick these. And there's no gold quality ones, which is what we'd really like to have, because again, community bundle. If you go into here, don't ever ignore these missions because they are very helpful and they give you a bit of cash each time. So getting started was basically just grow a bunch of crops, which we've now done, and that's 100 gold. This is the selling bin, so you can put stuff in there. Overnight someone will come and collect it and they'll give you the money for it the next day. But we want the money today, so we're going to go to Pierre's. Okay, so this is how you start the community center. You've got to go into town from the bus stop, obviously on day 5 or any day that it's not raining. Marilys will tell you about the community center. Once you've done that, you'll have to head on inside. So we'll run up here quick. Collecting any little forageables along the way. Daffodils, actually worth keeping because they're a good present for Pierre at the general store, and once he's friends with you, every now and again he'll send you 500 gold. So now that we're in here, the first thing you want to do is come over here and check on this tablet. You can't read it, but that will set into motion a little bit of a quest. You'll go see the wizard, he'll help translate it, and then you can start the community bundles. So, we've come to Pierre's. As I say, always worth giving him a daffodil. And then he'll buy any crops and other sort of forageables from you for a little bit of money, and it'll be exactly the same price as you'd get for putting it in the bin overnight. So if you need the money that day, it's much better just to come here and say hello to him. Now, one thing that we're going to want is one of each crop, at least, of all of these, because they'll be used for the community bundle. All the rest, pretty blasé, you can sort of leave them for now. What we do want, few more of these, because we really want to get 5 gold parsnips for one of the bundles. So I'm going to go whole ham and get 29 of those, and one of each of those. And then we're going to go plant those. Now, I know it might be tempting to plant them all today, but may I interest you in leaving it until tomorrow? Because then when your farming skill goes up, once you've fallen asleep overnight, you'll be able to make 36 fertilizer, which will mean you've got a better chance of finding better quality crops by making sap. So, using that trick, it's worth going around and cutting down some trees, which is what we're going to basically do today to get our foraging skill up and so that we have plenty of sap for the farming. So, I'll crack on with this and I'll see you lovely people in just a moment. Awesome sauce. So we've spent most of the day just chopping trees, getting our foraging level skill up, which I believe should have gone up. Yeah, it's only gone up another 1, but that's fine. That's kind of what we're looking for. And it's also giving us about 300 wood. We're now nearly next to empty on energy, so I am going to top up a little bit on that. I believe the dandelions will be fine. As I mean, like, see what I mean? There is a case of mostly our time is still fine, but our energy is so low at this point. But yeah, that'll be fine. So for now, we're just going to head down to the beach and repair the bridge. So repairing the bridge is very easy. It's done instantly. It's not an overnight thing like certain other things. You just put down the 300 wood. Oddly enough, 300 wood coming from about, say, 20 odd trees. And that gives you 2 planks. But that does let you get to the beach over here, which has plenty of shells. Now, the shells on the beach in general, so I've heard, I may have to double check this again, basically continue to grow over the week and then reset on the Sunday. So you could pretty much just leave it, come here on, say, the Friday or the Saturday, and all of the accumulated shells will be on the beach, ready for pickup, and then you can drop those in to the bin. So we got level 1 farming. We can now make the scarecrow and basic fertilizer. That is what we wanted, and that's why I haven't planted anything yet, because you can't fertilize soil once you've planted something on it, so you have to do it in reverse. So it's worth getting your farming level first, fertilizing the ground, then planting the crop. Level 2 foraging, we can now make survival burger. And with just a few odd shells, we got an extra 430 gold. So that's not too bad. We've lucked out, it's a rainy day. It's a parsnip there, that's just one, but that's fine. So now what we can do is we want one bit of coal, I believe it is, some fibre, and we will need some more wood to make scarecrows, because they'll keep the crows away, and they are very good at what they do. So we'll grab all the things that we're going to want, almost. Take that out, and we'll grab that. So, what we want to do, hoe the turf. Go with this side. Good thing it's raining, which means we don't have to water anything today. But what we want to do is come up to here and grab as much basic fertilizer as possible. Nice. And then we'll just spread that all over here, all along here. As you can see, we can't fertilize bits that have already been planted on. So again, that is just something to watch out for, especially if you're trying to get good crops early. So we'll stick to ones that we don't really care too much about, but do need. Just along here. And then the rest can go all along here. There we go. So we could get 2 more and fit it in there, which we might do, to be honest, just because that's going to bug me if I don't. Let's check our mail. And that's the letter to say that we can go see the wizard now, which we will do in just a mo once I've got enough wood to make my first scarecrow. Now that we've got enough ingredients, we've made ourselves a scarecrow, and they are great because they prevent attacks from crows for about 8 tiles radius, and that is 8 tiles in all directions. So it's a very large area, all protected. Pretty much put this, say for instance, here, and it will protect all of your crops here and about in this sort of radius. But now that that's done, we're gonna go say hello to the wizard. So to find the wizard, you want to come down to the southwest area where the big lake is. You come along here and you'll find this little gap, and there is the tower where the wizard lives. Again, it will give you a cutscene. Basically, this allows you to read the tablet in the community center, so we're going to skip that. There we go. So we dropped in the bin a load of the forageables that we picked up, including the clam. Just to make a bit of extra money, because, as you'll see, every Friday and Sunday there's a traveling merchant that comes who can have really good or really bad items. Awesome sauce. So, to find the traveling merchant, what you want to do is come to sort of Marnie's ranch here, then just head directly left above the lake, and she will be along here just there. Every Friday and Sunday. I completely forgot about her Friday, but let's see what she's got for us today. So, complete breakfast, wild horseradish for 400. Let's see, some of them are a joke. Potato seeds for 400, you would never do that. But things like puffer fish, quite hard to come by, and good for a community bundle later on, 800, not too bad. What you want to find is either rare seeds, because she quite often has them, they're 1,000 gold, or this early on in the seasons, if she has a coffee bean, buy it, because coffee will grow throughout spring and summer, and when you pick the harvest you get coffee beans, and then you can just replant them, so on and so forth, growing the crop size for literally whatever you spend it on here. Sometimes it'll be 1,000, sometimes it'll be 2,500. Either way, you should be able to make that money with the fishing trick, and it is well worth doing. Nothing for us today that we particularly want, so we're just going to leave this here. So, now that we're at the community center, we can head down to the bundles box here. Given the last one, which is the dandelion, and that is the first bundle complete. Obviously, once you've completed all the bundles, your reward down here is the bridge repair, which is the one I believe to the quarry. But you'll also get these mini bonuses as you complete each one. In this case, we get a load of spring seeds, an assortment of wild spring seeds, 30 of them. And there we go, we've opened up the pantry, which this bundle is all your grown things, sort of your crops. and animal bundles, and there's a load of other ones, sort of like ball crops, artisan crops, which are basically food, fruit. And then there's the fish tank over here. So with our reward, we get the spring seeds, which is an assortment of spring seeds. Normally I don't bother growing those because they're actually worth a quite good bit of money as it is. By going to Pierre, sell them direct. That bumps you up to 2,500, which is just enough to get your first backpack with some change. You now have 24 slots to hold stuff, making it a lot easier going forward. But for the rest of the day, because we've got our fishing up to level 4, if we can get it up to level 5 as of tomorrow, then we can start selling all the lovely fish that we've got in here, Willy, at a much better price. And what we will do is grab a load more bait, because it's quite cheap. Obviously, goes up over time. But that's 50 bait, and then we can just fish for the rest of the day, make a load of money, get our fishing level hopefully up to level 5, and then sell these fish for a great profit. And we got our level 5 fishing, which is exactly what we wanted. So we're going to go with Fisher, because fish are worth 25% more, so when you sell them, you'll get a much bigger profit. So for the last day, I am just going to be watering these, and then we're going to go sell our fish, pop into the museum, and pop in to see Clint as a final little bits of tips, because I don't want this video going on for too long. I believe it may already be quite long. I'll have to find out once I've finished editing it all. But I do hope you found it helpful. And so far, if you found anything helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you were to give the video a like, maybe subscribe, because I'll be doing more videos like this on different seasons following this one. So for now, let's go see what our fish are all worth. So we'll stop off at the lake, grab the fish from there as well, and then sell those at the same time. So we'll come in here, say hello. We picked up a few more shells off the beach, so we'll sell those. So just going from the shells, we'll say we're just over 900, sorry. So let's get to selling and see what all of these can make us. So we're just over 900 to begin with. And now we can sell all of these. Except for the eel, we'll keep that. So all of these. And the catfish, that can stay as well because we'll want that. The shells. That can all come too. We'll drop that in there for now and we'll just throw that in there. So 1,726 up to over 5,000. Just from doing the fishing. That's fishing alone, not including everything else. But that's what it can get you within the first week. And that will set you up really nicely because you've got a lot of artifacts, your crops are growing, a lot of money, and the exercise backpack. Well, I'm going to call it here. But I hope you've enjoyed the video. Like I say, I hope it's been helpful to you, especially if you're brand new to the game. As I said, this is just a suggestion though. Like, you don't have to play it this way. It's just, for me, it's been the best way to make extra money at the start. Personally, I just enjoy the game. Play it your way, enjoy, and I hope you'll tag along for more videos just like this in the future. So, from me, I'm going to say farewell, and I hope to see you in the next one.